Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name's Jack and today is a Lego City update video for you guys. This is an update video as of March 2017, and in the past few weeks Mike and I have been building a ton of stuff for this place, and the city really does feel and look a lot different than actually not that long ago. So there's a lot of new structures that I want to show off and just kind of point out what has changed since the last time you guys have seen this city. And I also think, which is kind of a bigger deal, at least for me, is that we finally got all the base plates laid out, and I've taken out a lot of sort of our storage stuff. Every time I showed you guys this city, there'd always be a lot of random Lego pieces kind of spewed and thrown about, and well, to be fair, every now and then there are a few pieces still lying around, but for the most part this is starting to feel a lot cleaner than it was before. If you guys think it's cluttered right now, trust me, it was a lot worse. And we also have the base plate set up. So this part is probably the most different because now we actually have a bay. This is our Brick City Bay. We're not calling it Brick City, I don't know what we're calling this place, but this is the bay area of our Lego City. And we have an idea and a design fleshed out on how we're gonna really make sort of a flush sort of shoreline that we're gonna have for our ocean. There's a few buildings sort of set up here, and I feel like the light tower, some of this stuff isn't really studded down. It's just kind of floating there in space, but I feel like it works pretty well. Anyways, this is just sort of some template stuff, and we're gonna really flesh out the shoreline in another video in the near-ish future. Also, another video in the near-ish future is going to be a bridge that crosses over in the section here. And we have some other stuff that looks pretty good, and I feel like I'm gonna snap my fingers now and we're gonna move on to the next section. Alright, well, I just jumped forward ever so slightly, and here is the newest edition. I actually finished building this earlier today, and by finished building I mean I actually haven't quite finished building the whole darn thing. There's a few extra missing pieces that I just feel like I can't actually make a quality review video of the Adventure Time treehouse just yet. I might do one more Bricklink order and just kind of make this thing look as good as it possibly can, because it's a great build, lots of fun, definitely complete enough to show off in the city for this update video, but not complete enough to have its own video. This whole thing opens up and you can see all of the different floors in Jake and Finn's house. Once again, individual video for this structure. It is going to be really cool though, and I think it looks great in the city. It definitely breaks up the look a little bit. This place was starting to kind of feel like it was just, you know, within the realm of reality, but once again, this is Lego. You can do whatever you want, and here we have the fantasy land of Jake and Finn. Let's move on to another spot. Alright, and next here is our airport. The airport is laid on top of a ton of these intersection baseplate pieces. I couldn't really find a use for a lot of these things because we were buying all of these straight road pieces, and they come in a packet where you get one of those and you get one of these. And if you do simple math, you really can't do a bunch of straight and intersection pieces in a city. You really do need a lot more straight pieces, and so what you do is you have all these guys left over, and right now they're taking the place of what's going to kind of turn into the airport. I actually kind of like the look of this. I think it's going to be temporary, but right now I feel like the look is all right. It's working out pretty well. It's still very small. This plane can't actually take off without hitting our hangar, but once again, work in progress. Pretty happy with this little setup. Most of this is just Lego sets that we managed to kind of put together. And all right, let's move on. Okay, so a lot of you guys might recognize what this building is, and yes, we have the Ghostbusters Firehouse headquarters finally built, finally made, finally put into the city. There of course are a bunch of things to talk about with this set. The thing opens up and you can see just about every iconic scene from both Ghostbusters 1 and 2, but in the for the time being I'm not really going to go into that. This actually folds open from this side right here, and you can fold it out into the rest of the city. Actually, let's see if that actually works. Yeah. So we've left a bit of space, and if you want to, you can get into the firehouse, because that's such a cool function that you can just break the sidewalls open like that. But for the time being, I think that actually looks pretty good. It definitely rests a bit higher than your average modular build. If you look at it from this angle, you can see what I'm talking about. It definitely kind of towers over a bit. This is both of these are actual custom builds, by the way, from the Brick City Depot. We've got a coffee house as well as the Japanese restaurant. Both nice builds, both cool stuff, but there are new things to check out in the city, so let's go there. All right, so we're taking a look at the latest and greatest of the LEGO Creator modular sets. This is the Assembly Square. It is on a 32 by 48 base plate. That is a 32 by 32 plus another 32 by 16 base plate. So it's actually this building here, and it ends at this building here, and this is attached as well in the interior. Really, really, really cool set, and I think it looks pretty excellent where it is right now. I'm liking it against our Grand Emporium. I don't believe this was new from our last update video. I think the Grand Emporium was there, but now we've got this entire chunk, this entire modular chunk kind of set up all in one big go. Oh, I think Mike loves the scuttler. He's always putting it up somewhere in the city, and it actually looks pretty good right up there, crawling up against the window. There's one thing I do want to show you that I almost forgot about. And because this is against the detective's office, you can actually see through. Can I zoom in? Sort of. You can see through to the other side because the Assembly Square is matched up against the detective's office, which also has an alleyway. So there's an alleyway there, and that actually works. Wow, almost knocked the cargo train set over. Let's move on. Next up is the Amsterdam Hotel. It is a very, very tall build, one of the tallest modular builds in the entire city, and I think it looks great next to the town hall because they're both very, very tall, and those sort of ugly blank spots that are left on the sides or backs of the modular builds, they're actually covering each other up really, really well. That line is almost perfectly matched. So these are almost like scaled to be next to each other, like on purpose. And it's great because it's a really tall corner piece. We don't really have enough corner pieces in the set, or sorry, in the city. So this is very, very functional. And actually, here's what I was talking about, sort of the blank side. It does not look nearly as good once we hit that sort of the untouchable area, the area that's really not supposed to be within the realm of the city. But fortunately, it is next to a nice, big, tall town hall set, and yeah, so that is another big old structure. Let's move on. And by move on, I mean let's check out the final build for the city, and this is actually our mini city update. I built one of these things a long time ago, back when the city was still just sort of halfway there. Here's a shot of what I'm talking about. And now we have something that is scaled a little bit more accurately. I decided to add the train in sort of last minute, actually, just before I made this video, so they kind of hang out the edge of the realm here. But pretty much every single stud you're looking at is representative exactly of one 32 by 32 base plate. I tried to get the colors to be somewhat accurate in their representation of the actual builds. So now we're looking at the cafe. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I should have put some yellow in there. This was the hardest part, trying to find a piece for the actual Ferris wheel itself, because it's white but it's also very colorful. That's a part that's from the Beatles Yellow Submarine. One of the clocks, one of the clocks that is supposed to be inside the interior of the Yellow Submarine. Now we're looking at the, this was a bad part, sorry, the Grand Emporium. And there's the Grand Emporium. Yeah, sorry to just some tan and dark tan. And then these two, this is where I couldn't quite get the stud on stud because this is, I put, there it is, the Assembly Square. I just used a couple of the sections there. And then let's move around, might as well. Boom, 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 ba-dum. We are looking at, what are we looking at? The bank. Brick Bank. And the detective's office. The detective's office. And then just past that is the Palace Cinema. It's okay, I don't know. You guys be the judge. And then this was an area I wasn't quite sure how to build. I actually didn't put anything in place for the gas station because it's really, really low. But we have, there is the Parisian restaurant, and then I think that is one of the other modular halves down in the corner. So what it is what it is. And let's move down here. Okay, this is the massive, we call this the mayor's house, essentially. Boom, a big, old, massive custom build that is not necessarily modular, so we haven't been able to sort of find a permanent spot for it. I think it's kind of good sort of separated out on its own. And then once again, I think you know what we're looking at? Yes, the Adventure Time treehouse. That was really hard. That was hard. I don't know. I really couldn't find like a proper sort of thing. You know, you want to get like 1, 2, or 3 extra little divots coming up there, but within the scale, it's just really, really difficult to get that done. This is something that was pretty representative of the last time I had the build going. We've got some bleachers. The bleachers are blue in the back, and then they're red and white striped. So I just made one side of the bleachers red and one side of the bleachers white, and I actually scaled down the L curve of the racetrack. I scaled it down just a little bit. That was, you know, I couldn't get everything to match up just right within the scale I was making it. Once again, oop, I just dropped a leg. But once again, this is going to be wide enough to actually fit within a 16 by 32 building. So if we ever wanted to make a BrickVault Studios and have a mini version of our Lego city within the city, sort of cityception, if you will, then this is small enough to actually fit inside a building. And that's why it's scaled down so incredibly small. But anyway, sorry, let me move this around. Now we're looking at, okay, there's tons of boats, so many boats, and well, I just decided to put a giant shark fin in there. I couldn't figure out what to do there. There's just too many little things and too much of a small space. This is just one of the beach houses. Just one of the beach houses. There's another small one. I just decided not to include it. And then let's move it around this side so you can see what I'm talking about next. This is, hello. This is, maybe I'm moving around. Oh, there we go. It focused. All right. This is a plane. It's actually landing. It's in midair landing. And then we've got our plane here. Well, it's coming in at the other direction. I skipped the hangar, but I did have something, a little bit of something representing sort of the terminal piece that we've got going on there. So yeah, and then I actually kind of like this spot. This is the train station with the little overhang. You see it? Now you see it? Now you don't. Okay, that's that. And this is the cargo spot. It's supposed to hang over where the train comes in. I didn't have a place to put 2 different train tracks, so I just had it hanging over one. That's that with the little yellow overhangs, and then the little red shack. The little red shack is in the corner there. All right, moving on. Now, let's see this. This was probably the most fun to build. You can see what that is. We've got, this thing is not focusing. Sorry. Focus. Yeah, focus. All right, so this is the construction site. So we've got our crane. The crane is holding onto the tiny little, I think that's the porta potty, or it's one of the portables, possibly. There's a Spider-Man battle or something going on there. And then for the construction site, for the actual building being constructed, I think that was kind of a fun thing to build, put together. That's just a regular 1x1, but it's got a Technic pinhole in there. It's a Technic hole, so kind of representative of the fact that it is not entirely put together. And then let's flip this whole thing around, and we've got ourselves back. You can see the firehouse headquarters. Also, this is representative of the Emerald Night train, if you couldn't tell. And but you see here, yes, this is the firehouse headquarters. Can't you tell? And now there isn't a ghost hanging off of this building here, but you can see with the trans clear. Maybe you can guess what ghost that would be hanging off the edge. Anyways, let's move it back. Move it all the way back down to the front. Let's check it out from this angle. So this is the city. This is the city in our mini form, and this is the city in the big form. Anyways, think that's the entire episode. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed our city update. And this thing's probably not going to be changing for a while now, this mini build, just because it's so small. I mean, I don't know what else you could really do with it. It really just depends on how much we decide to change this thing. So I hope you enjoyed our little mini city update video. And if you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe. And yeah, that's it for this episode. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.